going
No, it's
live.
not yet.
We're live.
So now we're live.
Okay, are you sure?
Yes, we're live.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Blacksburg Wine Lab Virtual Happy Hour Special Flying Blind Edition. And for those that didn't read my always lengthy emails, which is probably most of you, what that means is we don't know what wines we're actually getting ready to taste. Obviously, we have our pregame wines that we know what we're drinking.
That's what I forgot.
Yeah, you
Damn
didn't
it.
pregame. You can't fly blind without pregaming.
All right, below
We'll
it.
give you 5 minutes. Hurry up. I can run blocker for you for a few minutes. And so the way this works in a typical blind tasting done by connoisseurs and judges and assessors of all things snobby is that it gets poured into glasses and then they sit there and sniff and swirl and do a score on it, and then people compare notes, and then they all look really fancy when they get the right answers. That's not how it's going to work here.
No.
I had students ask me one time, why would you taste blind? I mean, doesn't the blindfold get in the way? I'll never forget
That's
that.
funny,
But I would hit myself in the face with the glass if I was blindfolded. So not that blind of a blind tasting. And the way that it's worked here is that the ever lovely general manager, Jeanette, picked out these wines, I guess a week ago, or
Last Wednesday, I think.
last Wednesday. And she actually sequestered them from our inventory and bagged them all up unannounced to me. I heard about all this after it already happened. Otherwise, of course, I would have cheated. And has actually been the only one, I guess you and
Me and
maybe
Juliana.
Cassandra and Juliana, not even,
Cassandra.
because you're participating.
Yeah. I
So
think.
only Jeanette and Juliana have been pouring out the flights and rebagging, so they're the only two humans on planet Earth who currently know what's in these 3 bags. And so it's our task to do a simple assessment and see what we think. I will say for the record before we start, there is virtually no chance that I get even one of these correct. A lot of people think that I'm some big smart connoisseur. I'm a smart ass connoisseur, but I'm not a smart connoisseur. So my personal opinion of blind tastings is I usually think it's a parlor trick. When I see the rich and famous doing it, to me it's like, oh, you guessed it right. To me it's a parlor trick. Anyone can blind assess a wine, and we hardly recommend that people do it all the time. I like to taste people blind here all the time. Back in the good old days when we were used to be open and poured wine for people here.
So close.
Yeah, I know.
We were so close.
I know. I vaguely remember those times. And so I would, for you lucky few that ever had me waiting on you, I would just bring people glasses and just say, what do you think of this? That's honestly a great way to approach wines because you'll find that it takes away all the clutter. It takes away all the preconceived notions that you have about things. So the best example I can give you is if I bring out a $100 wine to you and I show you the bottle and I hint, this is a $100 bottle of wine, and then I taste it to you, 99% of humans will say it's a great bottle of wine. If I do the same exercise with a $5 bottle, a lot of people will say, nah, I didn't like it that much. And there have been more than a few studies where they have done blind tastings of 3 different wines with people, and they're told the price, or they're told one thing about the bottles of wine in the bags, and people will come up with all kinds of descriptions, different descriptions for those wines. And if you tell people the price, 99% of the time they'll rate that as the highest, best wine they like. And most of these blind tests use the exact same wine. And it's actually very easy to do.
Right.
So hopefully Jeanette hasn't done that to us.
Now, all of these are $100 bottles.
These are all $100. I
And
mean,
whoever bought
Then
them
they're
for
all
$45
amazing.
got a great deal.
I only drink $100 plus bottles, so it better be up to my standards. No, I drink everything.
Now, we do know that they're all red wines.
I didn't want to.
I didn't know that. See? You guys already cheated.
Well,
I didn't want to have to say, hey, you should probably maybe refrigerate this one bag. You know, I just wanted to make it kind of easy this first time, not to have to refrigerate, and you know.
Okay. Well, it's perfect timing. Now that it's 100 degrees outside, I really want to drink 3 red wines. No, I'm just...
It's great out.
Oh, before we actually start tasting, I guess you could go ahead and pour if you like. Or does anybody want to introduce themselves? Everybody knows me. I'm Boyer.
I'm Katie.
I'm the booze monkey.
Booze Monkey.
I'm Cassandra. And I'm Jeanette.
And Jeanette. We already introduced her.
So Larkin said we should all make bets and who will get the most right. And I'm like, no, let's not.
Oh, my money's on Katie or Cassandra. Women usually cut through the bullshit fairly quickly, and most women are better tasters than men on average. And again, this is real science-y stuff. There's things called super tasters. Many of you probably know this already. Super tasters are people that can actually just detect a lot more on their palate and can describe a lot more from the same food or wine or anything that would be tasted beside a regular palate. Katie is a super taster. My inclination is that Cassandra is probably a super taster. I am not. It's confirmed that I am not a super taster. I enjoy the hell out of food and wine,
Well,
but
maybe.
Katie and other people like her can get nuances that I simply can't get, and that's fine.
And she always comes up with really great adjectives when we're doing tastings.
We're putting
And I'm
all this
like,
pressure on her.
okay, yeah, you're right.
I know, I'm like, oh no.
I do feel like sometimes during tastings, I'm definitely playing follow the leader to Katie.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, there's always the fun game you can play too. So instead of the parlor trick of blind tasting that, makes me look smart if I get the right answer, I like just to be the first and loudest person to say something in a conversation. This is a trick I've always taught students.
Yeah.
So no matter what mixed company you're in, and it's funner if you're a novice wine drinker and you're with a bunch of, let's call them snobs, or just people who really are really into wine and drink lots of wine. It's always a fun game to have a novice that I've coached in advance, and we're all tasting the same wine like we're getting ready to do right now, and have the novice yell out with authority that they're, oh my gosh, I get hints of blueberry in this. And if you're the first person to say that, you've influenced everybody else around you. And I put cash money on the table. With no doubt, you can pick any flavor, and if you're the first person, even a flavor that's not in the wine, and if you're the first person to say, whoa, I get like chocolate covered raisins out of this, at least one person in 5 will agree with you.
Yeah,
Even if you don't get it. I do it all the time. Like, oh my gosh, this is a red wine, but I'm getting like lemon zest. And somebody be like, that's it, I got that too. And I'm like, I didn't get lemon zest. Be confident in your opinions about things. But it's a fun game. You should try that on your own accord. I'm getting ready to do it right now.
So is this wine number 1?
This is wine number 1. So if you're at home and you've got either the flight bottles numbered or the tightly wrapped bags, you can follow along.
I'm still pre-gaming. Hang on.
I'm bored.
Well, everybody sits and swirls. I actually want to talk about this one for a second. Well, you all have to analyze. Well, what's it called? It's Eidelsvicker?
Eidelsvicker?
Is that the grape, I'm assuming? Eidelsvicker?
Yes. Yes.
Alsatian.
Yeah, she gave me
It's
a taste of that
Alsatian.
earlier, and
Yeah.
it's really, really interesting.
And I bought 4 or 5 cases of it, and we got this at the Casella tasting, where it's a warehouse tasting where you get to try pretty much the whole line that a wholesaler carries. So we call them wholesale warehouse tastings, and this one had over 500 wines open by the glass. So of course we tried somewhere between 100 and 200 wines, and then you don't remember the rest of the day, right? You were there. I barely remembered that you were there. So
It's great.
when I see that I ordered 4 or 5 cases of the same thing and it comes in, I'm like, I have no recollection of this wine. But I must have really liked it that day. And it is. And it's called Eidelsvicker, and the label is Wolfberger. We love Wolfberger Pinot Blanc. We've had that here by the glass off and on for the year and a half since we've been open. It's a blend. Because I was like, Eidelsvicker, is that a grape? I've never heard of it. So what's the blend?
Pinot Blanc, Riesling, Gewürztraminer, and Muscat.
I thought I got a hint of a Gewürztraminer in there. Everything
else
tastes
great.
Everything else tastes gross. It's in this glass, and you get it. And it's like it's a little bit of perfume. There's a little bit of this, and it, to me, it's almost like somewhere between a Sauvignon Blanc and a Chardonnay.
Yeah,
That
kind of like a Pinot Blanc at the start. The Riesling came in pretty quickly.
Anyway, that was my store pitch, just because I was drinking it.
Yeah. Plus, it's a liter bottle, and it's good.
Oh, it's a liter bottle? Oh my god. Right. Double bonus. Okay, let's get serious now. Enough of this fun.
Serious faces only.
Who wants to say the first word?
Is anybody on the first and loudest on there saying any words?
Larkin just says number 2 is her favorite. And I'm like, you jumped ahead.
What are you doing, Larkin?
Oh, Larkin, when are you coming back to work? We love you, and we miss you. Tell your dad I said hi.
And your mom.
Okay.
What do you all think? I get some awesome, I'll start. I'll get some awesome, almost like menthol, eucalyptus, herbal. I get minty on it for some reason.
Interesting. Well, it's definitely super light-bodied. I mean, the color on it's super
Yep.
pale, very young, I would
Full of
imagine.
funk, too.
2018 at the oldest, I'd say.
Oh, I didn't look at the vintages.
Oh.
Sorry.
I rarely look at colors, but in a blind tasting, it does help a bit. And it's like, yep, this narrows the field considerably.
Yeah.
So I still am not getting a whole lot out of this, but I can tell you for sure, it's not a Cab, it's not a Merlot.
Nope.
It's not a big,
It's not a
huge
Zinfandel,
red grape. It is
Shiraz.
not.
No.
Unless they harvested it super early and it was a crappy year, which I seriously doubt, because we wouldn't have it in the store. So this is a probably lesser known variety. It's certainly not one of the big boys, because I'm not getting anything that punches me specifically in terms of flavor. That, you know, you can kind of get things from every Cab. You can kind of get things from every Merlot, and I'm kind of not getting a lot of things from this.
When she first poured it out, I was fairly convinced, just by the color, that we'd be going Pinot Noir.
That's what I thought, too. And then
But
I'm
it's-
like,
It's
not a
not
Pinot Noir.
It's not. I was wrong.
I mean, hey,
It
we have
might
some
be.
funky Pinot Noirs here, but
But it definitely doesn't have the
No.
normal. It's definitely not a New World Pinot Noir. That's for sure.
and I'm trying to think what Pinot Noir Old World it would be, and it's like, no, I'm not getting any of the fruit, typical Pinot Noir fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you following along or that know your wines as well, the color is what we haven't even got past color, and it's like we've narrowed it down to a Pinot Noir or something that we're not sure about. And my money's against Pinot Noir.
Anything from you?
I kind of get a little some earthiness. I get some little saltiness too, but
a little funk. I wonder if it's like a...
yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah,
but I think
it's like a natural or something fermented in a way. It's not traditional.
I don't think
A
Jeanette
little
would throw us a
horsey.
curveball like that. So
When do I reveal anything?
I don't think we
Oh,
reveal
no.
to the end, though.
Yeah,
yeah, we can wait till the
okay.
end if you want.
All right, that's fine.
I
Well,
actually
I
think
kinda-
we've had this wine before. I think I've drank this wine before.
So, Mike guesses their Cabernet Franc in there.
No, I'm not getting anything that
Write some
herbal.
stuff down. I want to write down what you guys have. If we're gonna wait until the end, then I'm gonna take some notes on what you guys are saying.
We'll let the people speak. Do you want to go through all three and we make our guesses and then we reveal? Or do you want to reveal one at a time? What do y'all think? How we should? We kind of didn't think this all the way through of exactly what we're doing.
Wait, think this all the way through. We didn't think about it at all. What the hell are you talking about?
We are literally flying blind.
It almost, again, back to just the color and the not strangeness, but uniqueness on the palate, that it doesn't speak to any major variety. I almost want to question, it's like, this almost is like something that's super aged. It could be like a 20-year-old Pinot Noir. I don't think that's what it is, but
So I actually just had an idea. 'Cause I'm trying to. Also, I'm cheating in my brain of thinking what we have. Could it be?
I
I
a
mean,
little bit.
obviously,
So I'm
you've probably drank
possibly
this wine
thinking
before.
a Caltern red.
Nope.
I don't think so.
No. I know all the I'd say I know the
Who's
Calterns
got that
well
new
enough.
one? I
Well, the new rosé.
don't know. Pinot Nero or something?
Pinot Noir is darker than this.
Okay, I was just throwing something out there.
I think you're onto something with Italy, though. My inclination is to go towards Italy, just because I'm not getting anything else. So maybe a Loire, but I know the grapes from Loire. So Loire's, but we're back to Cabernet Franc, and I'm not getting any Franc out of it. I'm not getting any Pinot Noir out of this. So start to narrow the field, and that's why I'm like, I think this is a grape that I don't know, or that none of us drink that much. It's not a big boy. It's just not one of the big lineup.
Yeah, I agree. So we are the results are in and everybody's split. Half the group says reveal at the end, the other half says reveal as we go. So it's up to us.
All right. Well, then I guess it's up to Jeanette.
I say, well, my opinion would be to reveal at the end, because tasting something else might change my
That's what I was
opinion of the
thinking, too.
first.
Yeah. As much as I want to tell you so badly what it is, because I hate secrets.
Has this been killing you?
The hardest. Sometimes friends will tell me something and be like, don't tell anybody. I'm like, oh, you got it. And I won't tell anybody that it matters to, but if I'm in line at Kroger and be like, can I just tell you something really quick? I know that you don't even know this person,
Awesome.
but listen.
Your secret is safe to a point.
I will tell a stranger, yes.
I will gander a semi-guess that,
So do you want to, like,
no,
have a
but we
guess,
can
and
guess,
then-
but I still say reveal at the end, but I'll leave
Yes.
you
No,
all.
I say we finish, especially getting flavors off the other two that we might want to change. Or like, no, actually, I think one's
That's
so
what
at
I'm
this
saying.
point,
Though you want to change
do you
your
have
answer.
0 guesses of what this is?
I might lean towards Sicilian, but as per the grape, Italy's got too many crazy ones, and I'm not sure I can gander a guess. I'm kind of cheating in my brain like Katie, going through the bottles we have in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And unless it's from the organic, natural, petulant, natural
We
shelf.
don't have. She probably picks me that has a queso. So.
Okay, now you're thinking
See,
too
now
hard.
you're
we
thinking
are
too
using
deeply.
logic on
Yeah,
this.
I know.
But it is, yeah. It's
I was
light.
afraid that you would have figured it out by moving all the stuff around in the last couple of days. I was like, he's going to wonder where all of this went just by looking at something, but
Oh.
you didn't, so that's good.
We have too many wines in
I
here,
know.
and I'm pretty lazy and not as smart as you think. So when I'm in a work mode, I'm just moving, and I'm thinking. I'm right now, and I alluded to this in the email we sent out earlier. Right now, I'm thinking 3 weeks from now. Everything I do, I'm thinking what's happening in 3 weeks. For those of you that don't know, which I think is probably no one of the 5 people hanging out with us here, we're moving, and actually our official close date here is going to be 2 weeks from today. So we're closing down 2 weeks from today, and if we can line up all the stars and get all the contractors and subcontractors to do everything we need to do, hopefully we'll only be down for 7 days before we open back up in our new space that's a whopping 100 feet from where we're sitting at right this second. Maybe 75 feet. I don't know. But there won't be a patio, damn it. But
Damn it.
we'll talk more about that maybe next week or the week after. Maybe we'll do a tasting the last day we're open here.
Of course we should.
But back to this wine. I'm
So you
only
say
going with,
Sicilian.
and I'm saying Sicilian, Italian in general, unless that Jeanette's really testing our nerves, not our palates, but testing our nerves with a couple of Bulgarian ones that we have. But
Well, I'm not convinced that it's not something close to Pinot Noir, but it's. I wouldn't say from America. I wouldn't say from France. I'm kind of thinking maybe leaning towards something out of northern Spain as well.
I can't think of anything this light out of northern Spain.
I can't either, but my mind. I don't want to follow you down the Italian road
Sure.
either.
Well, I did say it first and the loudest.
That's true.
So
That's true.
everybody should agree with me.
Now watch it be a Columbia River Pinot Noir.
Oh, well, that would be fantastic. I would love to be wildly wrong and this be a Pinot Noir, because I would never drink this wine again.
You lied to me.
Oh, no, I like this wine, and we didn't even really give any descriptors. We immediately, because that's the way our brains think. I'm still not getting a lot. I'm not getting any whole lot of distinct flavors, which is why this is a cobweb.
You might have ruined it with your Idols Vicar and all those crazy.
Oh,
it was
well,
very
could be, but I don't think so.
Well, no, I don't
I'm a
really
professional
get a ton
alcoholic.
out of this either. I mean, it's super light. You get a little bit of that red fruit, and it's just kind of this amalgamous, kind of a thin red fruit. Nothing that beats you over the head with it, but I mean, it's cranberry.
Well, it's dry as
Yeah,
hell
it's
on
very
the back
tart.
end.
It's very tart on the dryness, right?
Cranberry, see? Super taster. That's what I was
Way to
saying.
go.
I would have never thought cranberry, but now I'm like, yes,
I still
cranberry.
get like
It works.
Eucalyptus, vegetal eucalyptus,
Little vegetal.
menthol eucalyptus.
That's what I get on the nose, and then it has that weird like funk, which makes you think Europe. So it's not. I do not think this is New World.
No. Wait, see, that's a great schemata to approach it. Is
Yeah.
you want to say it's New World, Old World. This is New World. They're not selling much of this wine. Whoever's making it,
No.
I'm going to tell you that right
They're
now.
trying something new and different.
Okay, Cassandra?
Yeah.
Some things that you were sure of.
I'm gonna say probably Old World, and I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna say that it's a Pinot because it's light, and I'm still kind of new with wine and learning, so I'm just gonna stick with what I know.
Yes, that's the only way you build knowledge is to build upon what you know and take it up from there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Again, we have I won't say significant advantage, but we certainly have an advantage over all you playing along at home in that I have literally touched every bottle in the store. Literally, and I've tasted most of them. So that gives us a bit of a leg up. It narrows the field, which is another reason I don't like the parlor tricks when somms pull off. The somm test that everybody gets so wildly impressed that somebody could sit down blind with 10 wines and pick not just the grape and not just the country, but the region and the vintage. And what people don't know is the somm people that take that test, there's a list of wines they're picking from. They're not walking out on planet Earth and everybody's like, "Ooh, I got a Virginia Viognier from 1910 I'm slipping in." No, that's not how it works. They have representative wines, and so they know. I don't know if the list is 100, 200, or 500 wines, but they know the list. Just like we know the list here.
I just always think around.
I don't know. This just
What,
just speaks Italy to me. And it's not Tuscany, by the way. Again, it's not a big grape. It's not Sangiovese.
I think you might be onto something with Sicily.
Yeah, I
Potentially.
think Sicily, and that's not picking what the wine is.
Any-
But it's got a nice lightness and that tannic component. It just seems like something Italy would produce. I'd say this wine does not cost $20. I would be shocked if this wine cost more than $15 on our shelf. It's just not that robust. I see this as it's a great summer wine. This is a fantastic wine to sit around, especially with maybe some pork barbecue or something, and drink the hell out of. I might even put a slight chill on this. Another reason I'm thinking it's Italian, because I'm like, I want to put a chill on this red wine, and I only say that about Italian reds.
So Sean Gagas, Alto Adige, which is
Alto Adige, yeah, we did have some great wines from there, but that's
Caltern.
That's
Caltern.
Caltern.
Yes.
I just don't remember any of the Caltern wines of this color, and they had a lot more punch
Yeah.
on the
Also more
palate.
expensive than it
True.
That's just my guess.
Any other guesses from internet land?
People are still thinking Pinot Noir, France. We got a lot of strawberries off it. I'm guessing it's $12 wine, and then Cindy cooks it. I would chill it too. So yeah.
I agree with the chilling. I feel like it would be good chilled.
If this is French, might if it was from any wine in the whole world and I was trying this, I might also say possibly the Jura region of France because it's a mountainous area. We don't. That's why I know it's not from the Jura region of France. But the mountainous areas produce lighter skinned, lighter bodied, or lighter colored and lighter bodied reds. And I've had some Jura wines that are kind of close to this, but they always have a little bit more herbal funk. Because when you grow in a cooler climate, it brings that herbalness, herbaceousness, or a funkiness to it.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking. Sicily, maybe the boot of Italy. They make some powerhouse volume red wines down there. And now now my mind's starting to race. I think I might have another guess too, but Let's move on.
There you
I was
go.
like, so you just came in, we got 3 cases of accidentally from a certain.
No, it's not that
No,
Giuseppe
it's the
wine.
fix.
Oh,
She
you know what?
picked
I
it-
never tried that wine, so maybe
She
it
picked
is.
it before we got it.
That's right. So it couldn't be that wine either.
All right.
That's a red wine. I still don't even know where that one's from. But the Cattons love it, and so I keep meaning. That's why I bought an extra case. Actually, I bought 2 extra cases, and Sam bought a case.
Yeah, that's great.
On my recommendation. I'm like, I haven't drank this, but some really great clients who are frequent flyers here love it. And so he's like, I'll take it. Okay.
All right.
So Sean actually thought to chill this one. She's like, I did chill it. I'm like, oh.
Really? Number one? She just chilled it?
Yeah.
Weird. Good job.
Yeah, and the Van Ellis think it's also agreed to Pinot Noir. So, yeah, we'll find out.
If it's a Pinot Noir, it's lacking.
Yeah.
Hey, and then I hope I'm wrong. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Jeanette was so good on this tricky thing too. She used different corks that she like reused for different.
Only
corks.
for the ones here.
Only
Everybody
the
else
ones-
got
yeah.
real
Yeah.
corks.
And so not to look
And
at it. Yeah.
yeah.
But she took the foil off, so there was any trace of anything. So.
Did you see the box that she had? Had a little post-it note.
Post-it? Yes.
Said Jason, John, and Katie keep out.
Yeah. Do
And if
not
you
look.
opened up the case, it actually had a piece of paper that
It
covered
says, I
everything.
said keep out.
I said keep out.
See, that's why I never look at things.
I never know
was
what the hell
I
is
was
going
never
on,
tempted-
period.
I was
I
the
didn't
one.
look. She told me about it.
I was the
I
kid
didn't
who
cheat.
used to go try to find my, like, shake all the Christmas presents. That was me. So I was
Shake
just
all the-
pretending that it was me that I was hiding all of this from. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now we got some fun on this wine. We'll all agree on some aromas here.
There we
Ooh,
Smells
that is
red.
Italian.
go. Ooh,
Or
it smells so red.
It definitely is red.
That is funky. Awesome.
I just want to say this, and I don't really have much confidence in this, but as soon as I put this up to my nose, I'm like, this is Cabernet Franc. I hope I'm wrong, because we need to analyze it some more. But as soon as I got that
Yeah.
herbal, I kind of got a little bit of
see
that
that.
herbal, big red herbal, interesting, slight funk, and I'm like, Cabernet Franc, right? Tell me I'm right. Tell me I'm right. Well, I'm sure I'm not.
Actually, I guess Italian and regular nose, but I don't know.
I don't know.
You got herbal on the last one. I got a little bit, but I get
Well, this is
herbaceous,
huge.
herbal,
This is-
eucalyptus. I get everything in that section of the wine wheel, of the aroma wheel.
Cassandra?
I get a lot of jam.
Jimmy Jam.
I feel like I usually need a minute to figure it out.
Cool. Okay. This wine costs more money than the first one. And again, I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, I definitely see where you're at with the Cab Franc, especially after tasting it. It's got a lot of structure to it. Super tight on the back end.
Well, I'm even changing my opinion after now tasting it, but that's why I wanted to throw it out there. That's how my mind works. When I smell something, usually my mind grasps upon something, and it was that herbalness, and I'm like, oh, that's why I like Cabernet Franc. It may or may not be Cabernet Franc, but that's why I like Cabernet Franc, because I get that smell out of it. Boy, both of these wines are dry as hell.
Yeah.
They really are.
This one's doubling down on the tannic dry finish. I'm like, I need a drink after this drink.
I was trying not to only choose things that I love, but one of these may be something I absolutely love.
Well, that's what I meant to say about the Cabernet Franc. It's an herbaceousness that's specifically briary. It's hit me again on another wave of it, that it's that green kind of element that most of us call briary.
Yeah.
That again, it's distinctly Cabernet Franc.
So I'm actually leaning back. I'm thinking New World, but like a colder climate cab. So like Washington State or Oregon or something like. I don't think it's not like Santa Barbara. It's not California cab,
Mm-mm.
but it's definitely a little cooler climate cab.
Oh, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking a little south of the border. I'm thinking
Yeah, I can see South America too.
maybe Peru or Chile. Maybe not Chile.
We don't
I can see
got
Argentina.
any
Yeah.
Chilean wine, so no.
Okay.
I can see.
We have no Peruvian wine, so no.
I can see Argentina. I can see Argentina with this.
You know what's funny is I have kind of an interesting take on this because I know what's in there, and this is what I'm tasting right now is not how I describe it when I'm talking about it, which is really weird because I had a whole different view on this until I'm tasting it with you guys, and it's
So what
how
was
I would describe it now is not how
how would you have described it beforehand?
That's cheating.
No, yeah, I can't.
John, I
You may
almost
have
had
heard
her.
me talk about
I almost had her.
I like where Katie was going with a cooler climate cab, though, because Cabernet in a cooler area will present more of that herbaceous. And it actually starts to be a flaw at some point if the Cabernet is too vegetal, meaning that if you let the vines grow, they grow a little bit too much. You get a little too much going on in terms of growth, and it can bring too much of that green pepper element.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that about this wine, but that's why my confidence level is higher, saying it is a grape we all know. It is a big red grape we all know. I would lean towards something cooler, although I wouldn't put a shit ton of money on it. Because, hell, this could be Australian. This could be the herbal elements.
Oh, the
It
Phoenix cab. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a cab from Australia that's got that eucalyptus hint in it as well. My inclination is still green, briary. I hope it's a Franc, just because I like it.
I'm gonna back up a second. Did everybody like or not like number one?
Sure. Well, that's easy, Jeanette. Of course, we love every wine
I
we
know.
serve here
I
at
was like,
Blacksburg
what?
Wine Lab.
Right.
They're all wonderful wines.
You did good. You did really good with that. Yeah, I mean it's
Because
It's got
I'm
its time and
interested to
place, I
see,
believe.
like, because I know, I think all of you maybe have had all of these. So I would like to know what you think of it now, and maybe you said that you loved it before and you hate it now, or vice versa.
So for me, number one's a food wine.
Okay.
I want to have that with food.
Both of these are making my teeth grippy. I mean,
grippy is definitely the word
Grippy.
on that one.
like,
Grippy.
I
damn,
really
it.
like number one. I liked it, and I would love it.
Gotta be
with
louder than
some
that if you
food.
pull it out.
Nothing too heavy, but it's like one of those appetizer
I didn't
ones. You
hear.
just have it with snacks. Like,
Yes.
kinda-
I'd say, yeah, number one's good. I think I would have liked it better with a little bit of a chill and with some charcuterie.
yeah.
And again, maybe that's my predisposition when I try that wine. I'm like, I want charcuterie. No, this is an Italian wine. Because it makes me want charcuterie, and it's
Right.
Italy. Number one? You like number one?
I did like number one. For me, it's not necessarily a food wine. I think that's just a sunny day in the backyard, put a little
Yeah.
chill on it, and sit in the shade and drink wine.
For me, it's like a bar snack. I want like some snacky foods. I don't know why. Like not like a full meal, like some snacks.
But both of these wines are grippy on my teeth, so I want food. I want some
You need
sort of
something
fat
fatty.
with
Do
it.
you
Yeah.
want me to go get you some food?
Oh no. That will taint number three.
That's right.
You can't now change anything. You can't change the experiment. You can't throw in another variable because we're all failing fabulously as it
Thank you
is.
for keeping it on track, Jason.
Cassandra, number one. You like the number one wine?
I did,
Okay.
and if it is a Pinot Noir, then I found one that I like.
Oh, okay.
But they're so variable anyway that, you know.
Yeah.
Gosh, I really hope it is a Pinot Noir now because I'm betting against that, and so
I mean-
I love being wrong.
I mean, that was obviously my first impression just on the color. I was like, yeah, Pinot.
So Larkin guessed this the quilt cab.
No, I drank enough of that. I think that's a solid guess, though.
Mike said Merlot, Cab Franc, French? Question? Oh, you don't have question marks. So,
It's a little too dry for Merlot, maybe.
Yeah, if it's a Merlot, they did something weird to it. To me, it's just so elemental.
Could it be
Cab.
Shiraz?
Cab or Shiraz.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it doesn't
just,
have any of the sharp, peppery notes that you would expect from a Shiraz. But
yeah, I think it's too late for Shiraz, personally.
it doesn't have enough. It's got
Well,
the
like, I mean, like, Shiraz is so, like, deep and figgy, like, really. Like,
right. It
kinda
doesn't have
hits
the
you.
fruit
yeah,
component
fruit,
for
that's
a
what I
big
should
ass
say, yeah.
Shiraz.
That's what I was thinking in my head, not light. it's not a light body, but it's just like Shiraz is so punch you in the face. For
They're
me-
usually
for me,
over the
yeah.
top. That's why I really like your gut instinct about Washington State. Again, this is such a crapshoot, our first time ever doing stuff wine like this, but it just does speak to cooler climate to me.
See that?
Or South America, I could do that.
Yeah, but based upon what we have in store, I mean, pretty much that would leave you with Malbec.
Yeah, Malbec, and I'm like,
We've got
I
that
don't
one
get
from
any.
Uruguay, but
I don't get a lot of Malbec
But Jeanette
components.
said one of these wines is one of her favorites, so it could be the Phoenix Cab.
So you're trying to narrow it down using
That's insider
ulterior
trading.
clues.
That's how
that
Martha
have nothing to
Stewart.
do
That's how
with the
Martha Stewart
wine.
went to jail.
It's
Just so you
realistic.
know. Just so you know.
It's a natural thing. So.
I'm using all the components I have to use to try to build the
Yeah, she
fridge
tried
for
that
it.
same defense too.
My God, I just need a drink after this.
A drink?
Yeah, it is so tannic
And I'm like, I
dry.
really need to brush my teeth.
Yeah, no, brush my teeth. I felt like I just brushed my teeth.
I don't feel like that at all. It
Really?
does nothing to my teeth.
Oh,
Wow, it's
It's
puckering
super
me.
tight.
Yeah.
yeah, just from the first sip, super tight.
Yeah, and so, do I know what the wine is? Nope, but I can tell you it's young. It's either young or it's so gigantic that it needs to age another 5 years at a minimum, but I think it's a younger wine too. So again, we don't have a whole lot of really old wines, and we don't have a whole lot of
So Larkin's mom guessed Australian Cab.
Australian
They
cab.
haven't peaked yet.
If it's Australian cab, then it's definitely the Phoenix Penley
That's what- yeah, that's
Estates,
what I was thinking.
because that's.
That one's the only one, yeah.
Uh,
And I'm not sure that I've ever even drank
I've got
that.
a great
I don't
memory.
think I have
Kidding
either.
me?
We sell the hell out of it. People get it. They love it. So I could see an Australian cab, although, as Katie pointed out, when I have anything from Australia, the jammy elements are usually so upfront that it doesn't leave a whole lot of room for doubt. And this one, to me, is a little more austere, and with the herbal elements, it's like, could be Australian cab, Australian Shiraz. My inclination is for a cooler climate cab or Cab Franc. Boy, I hope I'm right with Cab Franc.
We haven't
I
tried
just
the
like
Caesar
it.
yet. Did you have some time?
Yeah, I mean, I suggested that I thought it was maybe a Shiraz, thinking Australia notes and that area. But I like it. It is really dry.
I almost hope it's French too, but I can't imagine where it would be from in France.
I don't feel like it's
Shatter,
old
but that's
world.
way too.
No, I've had enough of this shot. I mean,
no, I would definitely not say Grenache.
I've drank enough of the shatter that I feel like I would have been able to pick that one out of the crowd, but maybe not. Maybe not. And I don't remember having that herbal element in the shatter. That's another fruit forward. In fact, if I drank the shatter, for those of you who aren't as cool as us and are all referencing wines that we've drank tons of here at the bar, shatter is I just think it's a solid wine, and it's from southwestern France, from this little AOC that none of us have ever heard of. In fact, it might not even be from an AOC.
It is. I can't remember what it is,
but there's nothing famous out of southwest France in terms of wine. So it's a Orange Swift wine, and it's 100% Grenache.
I'm not sure it's orange. I think
I
it's
don't think
Joel.
it's
Or it's a collaboration. It's a Joel Gott Orange Swift collaboration, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
no, it's.
It's not.
You're right. It's Gott. He's the primary one.
Yeah.
It used to be Orange Swift, and now it's gotten somebody else.
Yeah.
Well, Orange Swift is actually the name of a brand.
Right,
I
right,
thought
right.
it might be a
Dave
Joel
Finney.
Gott, Dave
Dave
Finney
Finney.
collaboration. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So the Grenache in this shatter is if I drank that blind, I might mistake it for an Australia, because it's just lush and big and fruity, and it's got a lot going on, and it's not something you think it's from France. That's a really good trick wine to throw into people for a blind tasting.
Absolutely.
You're like, what's this? Oh, it's definitely New World, probably Australia or California. Nope, Southwest France in the middle of nowhere. The Mari AOC. Never heard of it. It's the only wine I've ever seen from it. Yeah! America!
I need
Do we have any guesses?
I need a napkin. Sorry.
Do you really?
What? No. It's a joke.
Oh.
Um,
Do you really?
Do I have any guesses on what this is? I'm completely flummoxed on this one.
Flummoxed.
Really?
I
See how hard this is?
Flabbergasted.
No,
I am flabbergasted
Okay.
that you were flummoxed.
all right.
Too many words.
I still say I don't know. I have nothing to offer on this one. This one's a little bit too, and I'm probably gonna be incredibly embarrassed when I learn which one it
I'm sticking with
is. Just
Cab
based
Franc.
upon your reaction, me
No.
not knowing.
Nope, that's not it at all.
You guys keep bringing up Penley Estates Cab, and I'm now talking myself into that, but because I'm like, yeah, that could be that because I haven't had that one,
I'm
so
obvious, but I'm not that obvious.
okay. So now it's
But it could
not
be that
that.
obvious.
Oh my
She's
God.
trying to do them like, no, I know what's going on here now.
I still think we'd get the fruit out of an Australian.
That's why we love suggesting the Penley though, because it doesn't have all those components. Oh, I'll try
Yes.
it. Baby.
Baby.
Your baby in there. I will be pleasantly surprised if it's not a Cabernet or Cabernet Franc. Pleasantly surprised. And now that I just listed those two grapes, hell, it could be a Bordeaux. It doesn't seem like one, but it has elements of a young Bordeaux. Because, for those of you that don't know, Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc are in Bordeaux. Bordeaux is a blended wine. So most Bordeaux's are Cabernet Franc, Merlot. Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot are always the biggest components. But then they'll have a little bit of Cabernet Franc, a little bit of Malbec, and what's the fifth one? The fifth grape in Bordeaux? Petit Verdot, that are peppered in. And so I get, of the two wines, or the two grapes I think this is, I'm getting elements from both of them. And Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon are very closely related. And it wouldn't surprise me if this was a young Bordeaux. Because that grippiness, I'm like, oh my God, this wine is a baby.
Mm-hmm. You can go a little bit more.
Yes.
All right.
So I narrowed it down to 3 continents.
Katie, what did you?
I'm still saying Cabernet Sauvignon.
Australia?
Oregon,
Or-
Washington.
Cold.
I'm sticking cold climate.
Cooler climate. But again, now we're using our insider information. What
Or it's the
Washington
Penley- or it's
states
the
do
Penley
we
Estates,
have?
So one it is.
We had that one
I know.
Washington
I'm like I can't.
State.
I don't think of any. The Skyfall.
Skyfall would have been my guess, but I thought we were out of that.
Yeah, but, so.
Skyfall would have been a solid guess because I think that's
Is that
a
a blend?
I think it's a
This blend?
blend,
But
and I think it's a Bordeaux blend out of Washington State.
I know it's not that, but I can't think of. That's what it brings me to. So.
And this is why it's a great learning experience because maybe you all are learning from this. Just when we're doing pot shots, we're all probably
guesses?
wrong. We're probably all wrong about all these things, but this is how a wine mind thinks. And so the elements we're getting, me and Katie, because I've drank the most wine with her, so we have a hybrid mind at some point where we're like, oh yeah, this speaks to it speaks to certain varieties, it speaks to certain climates, and when we're wildly wrong, we'll laugh, and get on with life. But that doesn't change the fact that that's how our minds work, and that's how you kind of taste through things. And this is how you shop. If you like certain flavors, if you like the flavors of this, even if we're totally wrong, if you like that last wine, you should probably go check out some Washington State Cabernet Sauvignons. And you should probably go check out some young Bordeaux's from lesser known houses that aren't wildly expensive, because I know Jeanette did not put any $100 ringers in here.
Damn it,
So they're voting thing. Australia and California.
It's funny because we keep saying cool climate, but all of us say, well, it could be on an Australian cab, and that's a hot climate.
Yeah.
But they get that herbalness down
Yes,
there no
they
matter
do.
what.
I just expected. I don't know the last time I had that Penley Estates. Yeah, I swear having more.
You're
Jimmy
loving
Jam.
this, aren't you?
Okay.
3.
Number 3
Someone already said I don't like the smell.
of number 3.
Number 3? Oh, I don't either.
That's it. Oh, it's jammy, jammy, jammy.
This smells like flat Coca-Cola Classic to me.
Mexican Coke or just Coke?
And now it smells completely different.
I thought that when I first sniffed that last one, I got
Now it
like
smells like a
Italian
urinal
like
cake.
funk, and then it like
Urinal cake?
Yeah, urinal cake.
I don't know that's on the
the
aroma
wine
wheel.
wheel. You want to put the wine wheel?
I
It's
think
right
it's
there.
inside.
Oh, I
Do you want
thought
to grab it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
meant to
urinal
have
cake.
Urinal cake, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Huh. This is why I wanted to taste all three before we guessed. Because I think this is from Australia. And I don't even know why I think that. It has that, there's a certain jamminess
Yes.
and a certain combination, hint of sweet tartness that I get that actually most people don't.
You hate sweet tart.
I hate sweet tart, and so don't let this influence any of you all, including you all sitting here with me, because when I say things taste like sweet tart to me, no one ever agrees with me.
No, I don't.
No one ever agrees with me, and I only get it out of Australian wines. So I get a hint of this, and it's got the very jamminess that me and you were talking about earlier. I think it does.
Yeah, it's got
Almost an oversweet jamminess, even though it's a dry wine.
big fruit. Lots
Yeah.
of big fruit.
I think this could be a little bit.
None of these are blends, right?
None of them are blends.
Oh, I wasn't
Sorry.
informed of that.
I for the
How
first.
come some people got more information than me?
I don't know.
This game is rigged. This is entirely
I
rigged.
guess I didn't have to tell you that.
No, you
but
didn't
I
have to
wanted
tell me.
to kind of be direct with the grape
that's what I
and try not to put too much,
This could
mystery
be a
into
scent,
it. I was
too.
trying to do,
Yeah, I don't know about Zen.
It's got the jamminess, and so okay, let's go. Let's stop talking about the grape variety, and let's not talk. We probably should have done this from the start. We should have an approach that we use for future tests like this. Let's just talk about aromas. Let's just talk about aroma flavor profile.
All right.
So I want to get this wine wheel.
All right.
And
I can see black currant.
yes, well, I get the sweet tart.
Yeah. Got a little bit of the plum on the nose. A little bit of green pepper, little herbs.
Cassandra.
Yes.
Talk to me.
I'm kind of with Katie on the Malbec.
What's the smells we're getting?
I get Twizzlers.
Twizzlers. I agree, which is why I'm going back to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Twizzlers,
Yeah.
dark fruits.
Right. Dark fruit. Some herb.
Larkin guessed Kamalaya Malbec.
I'm a lot. I wish we don't have that.
Like,
That's a
oh,
great
wish we had
Malbec.
That was a
Yeah,
good
that was a
one.
really good one.
Yeah.
I can't go towards Malbec because I'm just not. It's got such a strong, hot finish to me. I can't. But wait a minute, stop. We're only going to talk about aromas and flavors. I get overripe plum.
It's rich. It's large. It's mouthfeel. I'm still like it's like
It's
taking over.
chewy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot to process with it.
Yeah.
I get a little green pepper or jalapeno at the end.
Jalapeno.
I don't know, like teeny bit. Like
Super taster.
it's just my tongue.
Need to get her a cape.
3 out of 3 on super dryness. That's for sure too. I'm going to go
You had a
chug
feed.
a bottle of
I do.
Adelsvicker after this.
Yep. Need a glass of Riesling after this, or it works.
Sounds good.
That or a big whiskey. One of the two.
The more it's on my palate, the more I'm getting the herbal element that you all picked out fairly quickly. I did not. I got way more herbal element on number 2. Way more. That's why I keep leaning back towards Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon.
Do you have any guesses from the?
Yes, we have Malbec, Rioja, maybe.
Oh wow, I think.
Rioja.
That would be if you just said it's a varietal. So
Yeah.
like
What's Tempranillo?
Shiraz,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, someone said, "Where's the chocolate?" Kimberly was like, "Where's the chocolate fairy at?" And
Oh,
someone
yeah.
said, "I'd like
Yeah, we
malt
needed
mango."
chocolate.
Oh my God, Kimberly,
night
that's a
long.
good call. Every one of these wines could have dealt with some chocolate, and it would have changed everything. It would
Absolutely.
be a game changer.
That's good.
Yeah. It's weird. This is like the most difficult one.
I don't think so.
It's funny because I thought that this would have been the easiest.
It is
for
the
you.
easiest to me.
So what do you think it is?
I think it's an Australian Shiraz. We only have about 5, so I could pick a label that I think it is, but
Oh, shot fire.
no, it's not Shotfire. Shotfire is richer. This is so dry on the back end that I'll reserve a guess for right before you open it up. I think I've had this wine before. I actually think I've had all 3 of these, although number 2 is still eluding me fairly good.
I would say
Okay.
newer.
You think? Yes.
New World? Yeah.
This is France.
Unless it's the Shatter Grenache or something weird.
No,
Yeah,
no. I don't think so. It just screams Australian Shiraz to me.
Yeah, I'd probably lean in that direction as well.
Well, I'm not trying to lead anybody. That's
No,
just
no.
it. Because I'm loud and obnoxious, and people think I'm smart. And so they're like, well, you must be right. No, I hope I'm terribly wrong.
Peppery.
It's that I'm not a super taster, but when I get this certain profile, I'm like, nope, that's what it is. Because I cannot drink a lot of this wine. I like this wine. I can do a glass. I could do more than a glass if I was eating food or, like Kimberly said, some chocolate. But I can't sit and powerhouse this bottle because I can feel the headache starting a half hour from now.
So Sean said, we think Shiraz too, but we don't think John's smart.
That was Matt.
Good
Matt
answer.
said that. Sean would never say that.
Good answer.
Mike says dark chocolate oak. I'm sorry, dark fruit, oak, or chocolate. Anyway, Lane said, I tried chocolate with it, it didn't help. She does not like this wine.
All right. So you are agreeing. I don't have to write that twice. And Katie, you think what?
Boy, I'd love to be wrong about this one. I'd love to be wrong about everything I've said so far. That's how we learn.
Pretty sure I'm wrong about one.
I never wear hats. But if this is a wine from Europe, I would eat my hats.
Oh, yeah, no.
And if the first one was a wine from America, I'd eat a second hat. I'd eat a cowboy hat.
All right.
A worn cowboy hat.
Yes. Preferably
Used cowboy hat.
preferably that Matt owned, because Matt sports a mean cowboy hat.
I'm gonna guess Shotfire. Sure,
I think that's respectable.
also, I saw an indicator that gave me a hint at something.
What?
No, it's screw cap.
Oh.
Oh, Katie's
I saw the Stelvin as
cheater.
well, but
Even
Oh my
put
God,
three
you guys are
quarts in
such
it.
cheaters.
Oh.
It's a screw cap. I ain't changing my opinion. It doesn't affect me at all.
So I'm still leaning towards number 1. I don't know, I'm just gonna hit back. Mostly, I'm also looking at the shape of the bottle. So it looks like
Ah.
Katie, the viewers at home don't have these advantages.
Some of them do. Most of them do, actually.
Yeah,
Oh, they
More
bought
people-
bottles?
More
Oh,
people.
okay,
are-
okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm still leaning towards Calturn, even though you think not. But it could be.
Oh,
French.
my goodness.
I don't mean to.
I don't know.
I don't have a guess on the label for number 1. I only lean against
Yeah,
Calturn.
I know.
This is going to sound very snobby.
Do you like that wine so much?
Calturn's better than this.
Yes.
Calturn's better than number 1. Every one of their labels I've had is way smoother and fuller body. The number 1 had a very light palate.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any of the Calturn wines. And for those of you that have not had any Calturn wines, you're missing out. It's we carry 8 different Calturn wines right now because I can't stop buying them because I love every single one they do. It's a cooperative from Alto Adige, which is way up in northern Italy. And it's just quality. Everything they do is just quality. And I think number 1 is a respectable, nice, light red wine. You notice I did not use the word high quality.
I feel like this exercise is also going to make you rethink how
Sure.
you have them priced, maybe.
Oh, sure. No,
And
no.
also
If that's Cal turn,
How
then
you, so
It's also
I think
really-
this is going to change some things.
well,
It's also-
prices are based on the actual wholesale price. It's
Yeah,
not based on my
true.
personal opinion.
But I
Don't
also
get me
think it's very difficult because when we try these wines to taste from our distributors, it's really about the lineup. How it's
What they-
amazing how you compare the wine that you had to the one before it. It's very difficult when they're in a lineup when it's like, oh, the wine
Because they could
before
be
it.
like framing you towards like.
They don't even
towards
mean to,
something.
but it's
No, they
like,
don't
oh,
mean
it's
to.
But
like,
it could
oh, this wine
happen,
isn't as
yeah.
good. The next one, you're like, man, this is great because it wasn't the
Right.
one before it.
Right.
So
Right.
Yeah.
it's just hard with the lineup too. Is if we had had that lighter wine
maybe
after a
both these
rosé,
things
like
should
what
be
if we had
blind.
had that after a white and then a rosé and then it had that
Probably would have been a
lighter
lot brighter,
Yeah.
and probably would have just had a different complexion to
What
it.
if
Right.
the
And
next
starting
time
with it,
the
in the
distributor
wine
comes
difference.
in, you say, just pour this for me. I won't look at the bottle as you pour it, and I'll tell you if I like it or not, and then we'll go from there.
Well, maybe that's why. Again, I'd like wine number one, but if we pay $30 or $40 for that, yes, I would definitely rethink. And be like, oh, wait a minute, that
Not
wine's
high.
not.
She sold all three for 45, so that can't be
Once again,
Cheater!
insider.
What a cheater!
She's choosing
All
she's
three
using
bottles. All three bottles are $45.
you.
Okay.
Yes.
See, that's insider information
We
I was
usually-
not privy
We
to.
usually
Just gonna
discount
keep
to
calling
that.
her Martha
Yes.
Yeah,
Stewart
it is
from now
at
on.
a discounted price.
But when I drink wines with wholesalers, because I have to drink wine differently, well, all of us do, but when we go into a place to drink wine with an eye towards what we're going to carry here, you do have to kind of know the price. Because it's all, your brain is balancing it
And
at all
your
times.
audience, you have to know
I mean,
your audience too.
yes, and it's like, well, I could taste stuff blind, and that'd be hilarious. Hilarious, but that's not how you run a business, because people.
I look at labels a lot.
Well, labels are one thing, but actually, we don't have the advantage of having a pretty label because most people buy by the glass, so they never see the label either. So when I'm tasting, my mind is always thinking, what's the weight of this wine? What's the smoothness of this wine? That's actually one of the very first things I think about all the time. Is a wine that's
Drinkable,
smooth.
something that wants-
It doesn't matter if it costs $5 or $50. If it's so smooth, I want another glass. I'm buying it for this store.
And that's the whole thing. It's
Right.
that second glass, that
Yes.
third glass. Oh, screw it, just going to buy a bottle.
If you can get, if it's so good, I want another sip, and you can see me at tasting stuff. I'm like, hit me again on that. I'm going to buy it
Right.
because I'm confirming that I want another hit of it, which means clients want another hit of it. And so the first one, an absolutely delightful little light wine. I drink a couple glasses of it, and if I was having food, maybe 3. But if I paid $20 for that wine, I'd be disappointed in myself because it doesn't hit all of the things that I want out of a wine for people to pay $6, $7, $10, $15 a glass for it.
Sure. Agreed.
So we have different brains about how we.
Your brain changed from
Drink
when you were
wine.
just wine drinkers to when you were business
Yeah.
owners. It took a little bit of an adjustment.
Oh,
period,
yeah, of
for sure.
course.
Because for the first couple of weeks that we were open, we had nothing sweet.
We had no sweet wines. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, oh yeah, there's a whole other, audience out there that
Yeah,
wants
people
this,
like stuff.
and that's okay. Yeah.
Boy, I sure hope I'm wrong about this wine. This is an Australian Shiraz. It just has to be.
We ready for the grades reveal? Is that,
How are we on time? Do you need me to do some shtick, little stand and dance?
7:57.
We're at an
Are you
hour right
kidding?
now.
We're actually, it's an actual hour?
I know. I wish
Wow.
so too.
It's a good thing we rehearsed this blind tasting so many times.
Wait, should we say what our favorite one was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Before we, review it?
Sure. Favorites in the chat room, and favorites here.
Number 3.
Number 3 is his favorite. Also, I think it's Australian Shiraz. Your favorite?
I would say 2.
2. Your favorite?
I like 2.
My
You're
favorite?
allowed to say I hated all of them.
I hate everything.
I don't-
Number 2.
I don't
2.
judge-
buddy.
Number 2.
Number 2 is my favorite as well. I think number 1 is respectably great light Italian wine, and maybe it's from Virginia.
So yeah.
Number 2 is the most interesting to me.
I will say, I will just comment from people. So
Yes.
Sean, her favorite was number 3, and Matt was number 1. Sean and Matt.
Well, now I know it's Italian. If Matt liked it, it's definitely Italian.
Yeah.
See, I win. It is definitely Italian.
So Elaine liked 1 and 2. She dumped out the third glass
Oh wow.
She's like, nope, can't do it. She's like, that's what she was trying with chocolate. She was like, nope.
Nope.
Chocolate can't salvage it.
Yeah,
Nothing
no,
can.
And then there was Larkins, number 2. Cindy said it's number 2. I'm saying that out loud. I'm like, number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Okay, so what
Everybody
you
likes
guys
the
said
number
about
two.
number 2 is you first said Pinot Noir, and then you said
No.
definitely not.
No. You're talking about number 1.
I'm talking about number 1.
Yes, you just
But-
said number 2.
I'm sorry. Number
So
1.
it's
You got number 2 on the brain.
At first, you all kind of said Pinot Noir, I think because of the color.
Only color.
And then you immediately said definitely not. At least not New World Pinot Noir. There was some funky, natural, maybe Cab Franc. Not a big one. Would not drink often, is what you said.
That's just me. It's
so-
entirely drinkable.
So you decided on Sicilian, Italian, not worth $20.
Wholesale.
Jason-
I'm talking about wholesale
yes.
prices.
Yeah.
Wholesale.
Jason, you said Northern Spain, Pinot Noir. Katie said
Doesn't make any
Yeah,
damn
I
sense.
know. They
It
don't
doesn't
make Pinot
any
Noir there,
damn
but
sense
sure.
whatsoever.
menthol, eucalyptus, funky, Old World. And Cassandra said Old World, Pinot Noir. And the reveal is Macedonian Pinot Noir.
Oh, there you go.
So-
Good,
Old
good
World,
job,
yes.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinot Noir, yes.
Oh, that went too.
Completely wrong. Not
Oh,
completely
Macedonia is
wrong,
not
but
that far
yes,
from
not
Italy.
too far, but
That's true.
I was trying to stump you on the region here.
Yeah, and I love this wine.
Yeah, you
and
do.
I've had this.
You do, but
well,
you
yeah.
hated it.
Yeah. No, I didn't hate it. I just said I wouldn't drink a lot of it.
Right.
But for the price, because I know how much I paid for this wine, it's
Right.
like,
Beautiful
no, this is a
label.
great little wine.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So that's number 1. So
And actually, almost all of you all lean towards Pinot
yeah,
Noir, right?
And everybody
Right.
on
I just didn't
online
get
as
any
well.
of that.
Well, I mean, it was really most of mine was based upon the color, the body, and just the little bit of the light flavor to it. That's why I went initially towards Pinot Noir.
I think most people in the chat room went Pinot Noir, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Easy.
See, this is how you break things.
Why would you break?
Brooke is.
You broke,
Oh, man.
you broke my clipboard. That's okay.
We'll get you another.
They make more.
my body. That's how it goes.
Over. I don't understand. what
Just
happened.
my body.
I'm confused.
No worries.
It's the coronavirus 15.
Wow.
COVID 15.
Alrighty.
That
then.
is pretty funny. That's the first COVID mention that we've had tonight.
Yeah. Oh, everyone
that
else
still
is like,
happening?
are we making fun of their not social distancing? I'm like, oh, we have been working together daily.
Yeah.
Well, see here,
Yeah.
what you
I'm
you
so
can't
sorry.
tell on the screen is we're legitimately like 4 or 5 feet away from each other.
Yeah, it's
I
just
think
a wide
we're closer
angle.
than they
It's,
appear.
it's
just
a wide
a
angle
wide angle
lens.
lens. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so number 2. You guys
Oh, this is the one
said-
we were interested
You
in.
guys
Yes.
said big red,
Most
herbal,
interesting, yes.
huge, jammy, costs more than number 1. Colder climate, New World, Oregon, maybe Washington, Cab. And then Jason said South American, grippy teeth, young,
Oh my God, yeah.
Australian Cab, dry AF. So the guesses were you said Cab or Cab Franc.
When I
Yo-
smelled
or
it
Young
initially, I
Bordeaux.
said Franc, but I can go Cab.
And you were flummoxed.
I'm flummoxed.
Flummoxed.
Completely flummoxed.
Cassandra said
It's a
Shiraz.
small
You said
outside
Shiraz
of,
on this one.
And then you still said colder climate Cab. Or the Penley Estate.
Penley Estate Cab.
Yeah.
Is that what
so
you-
this is not the Penley Estate, but I
Oh.
almost chose that one, and it's my favorite, the Felino
Felina.
the Cobos Felino Argentinian Cab.
I thought that
Stab.
too.
Good
Nice.
job. I was very impressed with
Very
that.
nice.
Yeah.
And
I
where's
was-
this
I was
out of?
Thinking of this wine.
It's a-
Mendoza.
Mendoza. But it's a cab from
It's a cab
Mendoza.
from Mendoza.
This might
Which
be the
doesn't-
first cab I've ever had from Mendoza.
And
don't
this
get a
is
lot
why
of
I
them.
keep wanting to buy this
Yeah,
one.
it's a great
I
wine.
love it.
And we
Great
all
price.
said it was our, well, most of us said it was
Yeah.
the most interesting one.
All right.
Good price, good wine. I love it.
Well, I love it now too because it tastes like a Cab Franc to me. I'm like, yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I never
And-
tried that one. I saw it on the wall when I
Yeah.
was moving some things around, and glad I got to try it.
I
And
think
normally-
yeah, go ahead.
When I describe this wine, I usually say very big, very inky, but it's not as inky as I remember it.
But we initially,
It is cool climate. I mean, it's like in the mountains.
Yeah.
oh, it's cool climate for sure.
Yeah.
But we initially got introduced to this. Wasn't it a tasting?
It
Was
was,
it a
and I
Monday
said,
tasting?
can you please order that for me?
Yeah.
And yeah, I love it. Love it. And it could be sold by the glass. So,
I think we were all in the ballpark, though. I mean,
Yeah.
all the descriptions were pretty
Yep.
much.
Cooler climate cab.
Yeah.
Big. Yep. Definitely.
I should probably revisit that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so
All right, number 3.
You guys said Australia immediately. Jammy, sweet tart.
I did. No, I
Yep,
said it.
You did. Big fruit. Katie and Cassandra were thinking maybe Malbec. Blackcurrant, plum, green pepper, Twizzlers, full sugar dries.
Love that.
And then
Yeah,
your
that's-
guesses were Boyer and Jason. You said Australian Shiraz. Cassandra said maybe New World. And then you specifically said the Shotfire Shiraz.
She specifically said shot
So
fire,
a lot
and
of
I'm
Shiraz?
I'm going to specifically say it's one of the Tate lines, and that's from Stan, but I can't remember which ones we have because
Oh,
Wow.
it's
And it is the
just
Tate Shiraz,
it's just too
the border
distinctive.
crossing.
Tate the board. It was. We had Ballbuster. That's why I'm like it's
We'd never
either.
had
We've
that.
never had it.
Well, we must have drank it with them one time because they
Yeah.
taste the same to me.
Yeah.
So I was very proud of you guys with this one. I knew that this one would get you. I was like, well, I want them to sound smart, so I'll give them this one.
well, we tried our best.
Oh, Jeanette, there's no saving anybody here.
And I actually don't really love Shiraz. I love the Shotfire, but that was the one that you had hidden somewhere. I didn't have that available, so
Oh, there's a
that's-
case here.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
There 100% is, but it's okay.
I couldn't find it. And I couldn't ask you for it, so
That would have been even easier than
I
that.
know.
Actually, no, that would.
Well, that's why
Shotfire would have been harder
I
for me
remember-
than that because that's distinctly that sweet tart taste that I was talking about.
Yeah, I actually remember why we picked this one because it didn't have all those Shotfires. That one, this one's more mild. It's not. I know it's still sweet tarty, but it's not as.
Well, I don't get sweet tarty from Shotfire. Shotfire is big fruit,
Yeah.
big jammy fruit all the way through in oak.
I like this one. This is a great steak one. The tape.
I'm very impressed with the onliners.
Yeah.
The Peanut Gallery has done well.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know the name because they were like, we missed it. Was it
Oh, yeah.
Felino? I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
Felino.
Oh, we're
Felino.
gonna order so much more of that because we are out of it now.
Oh, really?
I think we have like one bottle left.
Who was
That's
that
Scott, so we can get that.
Scott.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great.
So did
Good-
you?
good
did
selection,
you not,
Jeanette.
You didn't expect this.
No, hell no. No.
Did you
And
love this?
I specifically said I don't think it's a Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
And I actually stand by that. I am so overly confident in life, my friends. I am still standing by that's not a Pinot Noir. And it's Macedonia. Let's be honest, it used to be a whopping 35 or 30 years ago, it used to be part of Yugoslavia. So I would do a side bet with anybody that if we went out and tested the vineyards
yeah.
in Macedonia,
DNA, yeah.
that's actually not Pinot
Yeah,
Noir.
like some DNA.
Because it happens all the time, especially in Eastern Europe. And Italy, by the way. People are like, yeah, we've been growing this Pinot Noir here for 100 years. And geneticists go in and they're like, no, this is actually Cabernet Sauvignon. That it actually happens more times than you think. It happened in Argentina a lot, actually.
It's all right.
People were growing tons of different things
Oh, I did read
that
that.
they were calling other stuff, and everybody said, no, that's actually genetically Malbec. And so they kind of gave up in the 90s, like, all right, we grow Malbec then, fine.
Right.
Everybody has Malbec. It's even happened in California. There have been lots of grapes and vineyards that thought they were one thing, and when they actually go and test it, it's like, no, that's not what you think it is. So because I'm so cocky, I stand by the fact that I do not believe that to be Pinot Noir.
Which one did you want?
You
She
want
was,
this in your hand?
yeah, Katie wanted some more.
Yeah, it's the Pinot Noir that you actually like.
I know. It's great.
Thank you for throwing in that ringer Tate, though. I'm glad I got one thing right because that is 33% more than I thought I would get right out of 3.
You pegged that Felino. You did.
I don't
You
know
pegged
if
the
I
Shiraz.
pegged.
I think you did. You did without
Without
committing
meaning
to
to,
it.
yeah.
You didn't commit to it, but you said all the things.
Jeanette, you did really well. This is
Thank
a
you.
bizarre and interesting,
Well,
Absolutely.
I tried to
but
do
yes.
very common grapes, but
Yep.
but the region was kind of weird.
So if we ever do this again, as you increase your palate experience too, I would have only not included that Macedonian Pinot Noir because even though most of you got some elements of Pinot Noir, I didn't think it expressed enough of Pinot Noir to be a learning lesson. I actually am fascinated that all of you guessed Pinot Noir because I'm like, what is it? I want you all to revisit it and tell me what Pinot Noir elements are in there, and I'll go get any Pinot Noir off the shelf and do a secondary tasting with you
Yeah.
right now and say, really? Really? You think that tastes like Pinot Noir?
Based on color.
Yeah, again, a lot of mine was
What else?
body,
Yeah.
color,
Yeah.
and just initial, just at the tip of the tongue initial taste.
I was actually leaning towards Cesanese. I because it had that lightness and a bizarreness to it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know what this is. It's something Italian that we don't know what the hell the grape is. Because I think Cesanese had that real easiness, lightness, light on the palate, drinkability.
Right.
So everybody really loved the blind tasting. I just asked them, like, do you want us to do this
Really?
again?
I was like,
Or-
what if they think this is boring?
No, they
Oh.
everybody said loved it. They even thought, I'm like, well, would you want all three? Because, like, we could just do one blind and then have two that we
Yeah.
think, but everybody loved it and they were like, do it again.
Excellent.
It's good. Yeah,
I
it wasn't like
learned
a.
lot.
It was a good discounted price. You can get all three and not feel.
Yeah, wait a
Horrible
minute.
if you hated
How do we
one of
sell
them.
these wines for $45? That tape ain't cheap. Jeanette just lost me money. We're gonna have to have a long talk after this. And by long talk, I mean no talk at all while
No.
I go have another glass.
Long.
Yes, of the three,
This
if-
was actually harder for me to choose than I expected. Katie was like, "Oh, you're
yeah.
choosing them." I was like, "Oh, okay. I'll just come up." And it was. I had to make sure that we had the inventory for it. I wanted to make sure it wasn't something completely off the wall, like a Blau Frankish.
and I thought that's exactly what you were gonna do. I'm like,
Yeah.
she's
I
gonna
thought
pick
so
some
too.
weird
I
ass
didn't
funkadelic crazy shit,
Yeah.
naturally fermented from the Loire. I'm like, hey, we're not gonna get any of
It was
these.
harder for me to choose than I expected, for sure. But yeah,
Well, you did great.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome
you guys
lineup.
did great.
So-
Other people are, sorry, I'm just like, in both conversations. Other people
Yep.
are suggesting that maybe we, next week, that like some of us pick a wine that really speaks to us and why we love it so much. And things,
Yeah.
wines that we
Like
personally,
all-time favorite.
Yeah, all of our favorites.
All right.
Like, what's your funeral wine? What would you want to? Everybody would drink at your.
Funeral wine.
I mean, like, you
COVID
know-
crisis.
Or
Too
that-
soon.
Or
Too
that
soon.
we all pick one and then it's still blind. So like you two, like we pick.
Oh, we all
yeah.
bring our wine to the table.
Oh, yeah, and everybody knows the
Oh.
one. Oh.
We should. It's almost like we rehearsed that. That was really good. That was really, really good. All right, that's an interesting idea.
Oh, I'll do one better. I
Problem
think.
is my bottle is just way too recognizable.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, the bottle that I would choose would just be way too recognizable. You'd know immediately where it's from.
What do you choose? Like an ice wine from Germany in one
Well,
of those
it would be
tall ass bottles?
It'd be an Alsatian white. yeah.
Oh, there
So
you go. Okay.
It would definitely be like, okay.
Well, I was going to go one better because I like not having any input. It's one of my best situations in life is not having input. And so I think maybe our customers should choose the blind tasting, not us.
So email me with your tasting.
Well, not even email. Come in and walk through because you'd have to.
You know, save
Yes,
one
it
at
is.
a time.
No, it's over. It's over,
Oh my
friends.
God.
The governor is opening it up. We're all good.
Juliana's text. Are you working?
Anyway, if our awesome clientele, people hanging out with us right now, want to sporadically come in, one at a time. I don't know why Katie and Jen are suddenly saying you can't come in. Of course you can come in. Most of you have come in to shop.
That's true.
So as you come in to shop and or pick stuff up, if you consult with Jeanette and say, well, here's the wines I like.
I'll try to get like a conglomeration and
Right. You only have to consult with Jeanette to make sure that we have enough of it for that
Right.
week. That's the only reason you have to consult.
She-
Because if we only have one bottle, then we
They
can't
even
pour
said
it.
like maybe you could pick like the top 20 that we have enough
Right.
of and set it out. People would be like, okay, we'll vote.
I still think we do one better. And if you all have super favorites that you've had here before, you can say, this is my favorite, and then Jeanette just can order a case of it in advance.
yeah, they never look at the invoices anyway.
I don't look at, hell no, I don't look at anything.
They still want like some teaser ideas. I can't. I wouldn't be able to remember things all the time. Yeah, this was really fun. Hope
I
you all
enjoyed it.
enjoyed. Had us watch us stumble through and try to figure it out. Hope you all enjoyed and got to stumble through as well. And now maybe you learned, oh, it's not my favorite. Now I know.
Right. We got 3 weeks, hopefully, until we open up the new spot.
Yep. And by the way, all 10 of you that are still hanging out with us are real clientele. The rest of them are fake. We've been toying with this idea for a while now that I really want to see solidified. kind of on this theme, not blind, where I invented in my brain a show that's called One Grape Three Ways, where we pick a certain variety of grape, and then that week we do a flight of it, and it's, say, we get a Grenache, and we have, the first one is from Southwest France, the second one is from Southern California, and the third one is from Northern Australia. And we do a show that says, this is just a Grenache, but here's what happens to Grenache when you grow it in 3 different terroirs, in 3 different continents, or 3 different regions, or 3 different countries. I think it would be a killer-ass show.
That's funny because I almost chose 3 cabs. I was talking to Cassandra about this, and I almost chose a Napa cab, an Australian cab, and an Argentinian cab, but I thought it would just be too difficult for the first.
It would be.
blind
Yeah, that would have
tasting,
been
but-
hard, especially given that Argentinian cab was so freaking awesome that I would put money on a Franc, and I definitely would never have thought it from Argentina. So yeah, that's actually a really good one. But to do 3 of those back to back to back, the descriptions get blended, and especially that gets really hard because as you had the first one influences the second one, which influences the third one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're drinking the same grape all at the same time, by the third one you're like, this is just all great. The third one is everything I tasted in all the first 2.
Do you
It's
think
like, yeah, that's how it works.
Do you think I numbered them correctly?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the flow was exactly the way it should have been.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The second one to me was so much more intriguing, but that's because the third one was such a ringer to me. I'm like, get this one out of my way. Get this off my palate. I want to go back to number 2. But that's just me. I'm not a super taster, but I have the Sweet Tart Super Taster
That is your
palate. I do.
That's your one
No,
superpower.
No, I specifically. I know we're out of time, but me and Randall used to go around and around about this at the Vintage Cellar because they, back in the early aughts of this century, that's the year 2000 and 2010, the aught years.
Sure.
When I was working at the Vintage Cellar, Randall loves big red wines and he loves big Shirazes, and he.
Robert Parker.
And so does Robert Parker. And so Randall went through a buying phase, and I specifically remember the label. It's called Woodcutter.
Yeah.
Woodcutter. And that shit was like $100 a bottle, wholesale. And I actually could not drink it.
Really?
I could not. Torbeck Woodcutter. I
People love
could not drink it. And it was getting 100-point ratings.
Yep.
And it's
Always
because
was.
of the same flavor profile that I pointed out immediately in that wine, times 10, at a minimum times 10. So every flavor you just got in that Tate, imagine taking that and exponent to the extreme, and it was dried out as hell, and people were going gaga bananas over it, and I couldn't stand it. And that's the fun thing about wine is that was not an inexpensive wine, and I totally would pour that out. Like, nope. Everybody has their own palate.
Absolutely.
Everybody has things they like. Everybody has things they don't like. And so everyone should always embrace that in themselves. To say this bottle cost $100, therefore it's good, is total nonsense if it has a flavor that you detest.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I hated that wine so much, I knew what that wine was. It was so seared into my memory because I kept trying to like it.
Right.
It's funny because we like this one. We like
No, I like it.
It's a profile that people like really like that.
Yeah, no. I think Tate is a respectable wine. I'm just saying Tate times 10? Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to like that wine because I'm like, well, this is when I was still a semi-newbie to wine, even though I was teaching a class on wine. And so obviously, Robert Parker likes it. It's worth $100. Obviously, this is a good wine.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to like it because I'm trying to train my palate
an
and
acquired
be
taste.
smart. And it's like, no, that's why I learned early on, who gives a shit what other people think? Who gives a shit about the reviews? Don't care about that stuff. If you don't like that, then you don't like it.
Absolutely.
Let's finish the happy hour by all going around saying wines we don't like. I've already gone. What are some wines that you have had that most people really like that you're like, meh, you don't even have to hate it. Just,
You all know mine.
what's that?
Oaky
Oh,
buttery.
oaky buttery.
sugar.
Yeah.
Oh,
Katie
Can't
does
do it.
not do California
And now
Chardonnay.
I'm honestly not a huge fan of like super grassy Sauvignon Blancs from New Zealand. Which I know it's like your favorite category.
It's
standard,
your
and
favorite,
I just can't. I also get jaded. It's hard. Like we taste so many wines here. If we're featuring New Zealand, I'll taste like 20 in a row, and I'm like, oh, I'm just getting burnt out. Like this is a lot
Right.
of grass
Too
all at the
much,
same
yeah.
time. Like oh.
Well,
okay.
that's an easy grape to get burnt out on. It can just like wear you out quick.
It's super good when you have it, when it's refreshing.
Yeah.
But then after you drink 30 bottles of it, you're like,
You're like,
I
"Oh, I
hate
can't do it."
this.
Why do I still like
And
it?
Cassandra's like, give me all of them. I'm on
Oh,
it.
Cassandra, I love it. No, that's Katie. I still
I know,
love it.
yeah.
I would
So
chug a
much
bottle
of
of that Encivon. I can never pronounce it.
Yeah, that's a French instance.
Enticella. Let's call it Enticella.
That's what we're
It's a
calling it.
Loire Sauvignon
Yeah.
Blanc, and I can pour that on my face. I love that. It's not overly grassy. I love that
That's
stuff.
French, though. It's
Yeah.
Okay, wines you hate, or wines that most people love that you are dispassionate about.
I have not had a Pinot Noir that I loved.
Until
I
Macedonia.
don't love that. I threw
Because it
that
ain't
in.
Pinot Noir. I'm telling you it's not.
Yeah. It's tangentially Pinot Noir. I got to go with Katie. I just cannot go with the big oaky, toastery, buttery Chardonnays. It's just not my.
I love buttered popcorn, just not drinking it. I
No,
just can't do it.
no. I love Chardonnay. If
Yeah.
it comes from France,
Like Sunday too. Even
Yeah,
that
that-
Sunday
that's
is
true.
like,
That's
Sunday
true.
Chardonnay is delicious.
something unoaked.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But
You guys like the butter, which is the malolactic part, but you don't like the butter oak combination.
Yeah.
That's what you don't like.
yeah. I mean, back in 15 years ago, Kendall Jackson was like the wine you would find everywhere in
Oh
every
my God,
restaurant.
my liver just turned inside out.
I know. But it's that style that became super popular and just saturated the market 10, 15 years ago. I can't get behind it all. It's just, I'd rather just be sober. Which,
Oh, that hurts.
A statement
I know.
I've never heard Jason utter.
I know. I mean,
Like,
The
that's why I got
booze
a whiskey.
monkey.
the booze monkey would rather be sober than drink that.
All right, Cassandra,
Sober
do you
with
got one?
3 O's.
With 3 O's.
So, I don't like the funky barnyard reds, like the Pinot Noirs that are really funky barnyardy. Like there was one time, I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
The Aubon Clement.
Oh,
yes.
bon Clement.
I thought it was corked, and I brought it to you guys, and I was like, "Is this corked? Because it doesn't taste good to me at all."
You were like,
And
no.
you're like, "No, this is delicious." And I was like, "Oh man, I need to rethink my palate."
No,
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 because we-
no.
we
No,
actually had
Amy
a
loves
bottle.
Pinot Noir, and
'Cause we had a
ordered that
quart-
We had a
bottle
quart
here
bottle
one
of
day,
that.
Yeah, I thought it was corked.
and she thought it was horrible too.
Oh.
That particular one.
So you have never done a lot of Burgundies, then true Burgundies from France, because
Okay.
they're barnyardy.
Yeah.
Barnyardy,
Yeah, just not a fan.
earthy, dirty manure. That's what they do, especially the ones that are worth more and more money have more and more of it.
Super fun.
Yeah. The super funk. Say anybody in the chat room.
Yeah, so Carmen Batnelli said she can't stand Viognier. And she's like, I feel like a Virginia heretic, but no.
A Virginia heretic.
And also, and Mike doesn't like Virginia Cabernet Franc. No.
I don't either.
Yeah.
See that?
Mike will just have to agree to disagree. But I thought that Felino was Cabernet
Well, it's
Franc.
funny. I was thinking that wine. And I was thinking, Michael Schaap's Petit Verdot.
Michael
We
Schaap's-
just got a case of that one in, but I was like, that's gonna be a little too expensive. Man, that wine's really good. It's reminding me of this. Okay, like I was like going through.
And actually, Mike just bought a bottle of that, I think.
Michael Schaap's.
Mike, didn't you just buy a bottle of the
This is
Petit
like,
Verdot?
This is English Meadows.
Oh,
Mike
Mike Williams. Yeah, I'm sorry, that was Mike Aronson.
No, it's Mike
Because he
Williams.
just bought some of that Michael Schaap's Petit Verdot and wrote us and said, I think this is the best Petit Verdot I've ever had. I'm like, yeah, it is. It's
Isn't
damn
like,
good.
Virginia Cab Franc a little lighter?
It's
It's
more herbal.
dry-
It's
dry,
even
very
more
foxy.
herbal. So all the character. Actually, Mike, what did you think of this Felino then? Because the reason I like
It's my
Cabernet
favorite.
Franc
It's my favorite
is
wine in the
because
store
of that
right now.
herbal element, and I think the Virginia Cabernet Francs. That's obviously Felino is a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's not a Cabernet Franc, but again, those two grapes are they're kissing cousins. And so they're very similar, especially
He said he loves it.
given. Well, there you go. So I'm actually surprised that you don't like the Cabernet Franc Virginia because they.
Carmen.
That's the reason I like Franc is because it has
Really?
certain
No.
flavors that Foligno has, but even more. So I like that flavor, so I want more of it. But it's not for everybody.
So Cindy Hagen says she does not like Oregon Pinot Noir.
Wow, does it like Oregon Pinot Noir? Man, that stuff's like candy.
Yeah, it's
To me.
it's bright berry all day.
Does she like true Burgundian Pinot Noir then? Because Oregon
about
Pinot
that
Noir
too,
is
yeah.
the opposite of
Yeah.
Burgundian Pinot Noir. I'm curious your opinion on that. Do you have one, Jason?
Dislike?
Yeah. Hard dislike?
I think I learned today. It's Shiraz.
You hated that?
I was guessing.
Look at his glass.
Yeah, it's like, how's that even working?
Oh.
It's amazing.
So I actually put down as my guess, which I knew was wrong.
45
was
degree
box
angle.
wine. That's the last one.
Would you
Box wine?
Yeah, that's what I put down.
Off camera, Jason
Yes.
suggested, or his guess
I mean-
for the third wine was boxed wine.
I would have said his favorite one is corked wine because he
Oh.
drank the
Well,
I thought it was
I just don't
corked.
like things. I mean, if we're going away from the Chardonnay oak buttery, I agree with that. I don't like that at all.
I'll drink
but
anything
that's
as
so
long as it's
late.
corked.
But I don't like too
We'll
much.
drink all the
like,
barnyard.
Super, and that's what that last one
Yeah.
reminded me of.
A lot.
So I would say a lot of Sauvignon, Cabernet Sauves I got burnt out on, like cheap. Which is
Yeah.
it's just like this full mouth thing, and I think that's what I liked about Pinots the first time I had. It was so different than that like jammy in your face thing. It was funky, and that's where that love started, I guess. So
There you go.
anything too much. So Shiraz, yeah, apparently I'm not a big fan.
And I should have actually said for our two viewers, I actually don't dislike Australian Shiraz. I quite love Australian Shiraz. It's only certain ones that have that flavor profile I don't like, and I have always been curious how it gets into the wine. And if I was not such a lazy bastard who never works or really does anything, I would have inquired more into certain labels that I know have this element and researched it and found out what's going on in
Oh,
their
the
production
denominator?
methods. Because if you saw the interaction between me and Katie, she's like, no, I think this is shot fire. And I'm like, nope, shot fire does not have that flavor profile. I'm 100%. For my palate, it does not have that flavor
That's-
profile.
see, that's
So
maybe
why
that
don't they have
the
that?
baby still here? Someone just asked for the baby.
That's the one that I wanted to choose because I love that wine
get
and I
baby in.
do not like the Tate. I like the shot fire.
Baby.
I don't
But-
like the
Well,
Tate.
to be
But I
honest,
wanted
I-
to do a Shiraz.
And
because
take
I thought
cost
it would
twice.
be-
And the thing is, take costs twice as much as a shot fire.
Yeah, I thought it would. You would immediately get the Australian Shiraz, but I was like, oh, maybe they'll mistake it for a Syrah. I don't know.
Huh.
No.
Well, mistake
I
that
thought
for
you
shot
might-
fire or
no? I thought you might have thought it was a Syrah.
a Syrah? No.
No.
No, Syrahs, Australian Shirazes are so distinct. There's
No,
no.
baby.
Yeah, the baby got shots today. Was not very.
No, Becky.
Well, since I've been with Cassie,
Baby.
she told me when I met her that she didn't like Shiraz. So I honestly haven't drank one in probably 8 years.
Sorry.
So I don't know. So I would love to try
Drink
different
a
ones.
couple
Shiraz.
I might like them. So, but that's
They-
the first Shiraz I've had
Most Australian Shirazes have this big jamminess to them. That's the reason why they're so popular and famous worldwide is because they're just not candy. They're not sweet, but they're second glassable.
Right.
I just invented a new term. They're eminently second glassable.
Yeah, they're fruit
I mean,
bombs.
where most Australian Shirazes, you're not even finished with the first glass and you're trying to flag somebody down. You're like, yeah, just give me another one of these. Just
Yep.
give me another one of these.
Big,
They're that
fatty,
easy.
jammy fruit
Yeah,
bombs.
they're just easy.
Yep.
It's like eating chocolate cake. You're like, of course I'll have another piece of chocolate cake. I mean, why wouldn't you have another piece of chocolate cake? I don't even like chocolate cake, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
If you were at a birthday party or an event and they were cut and they passed out the desserts and it was in a really lush chocolate cake, but they cut the piece super thin, as soon as you got to like bite 3, you're like, I want another piece of chocolate cake. Why'd they give me such a small piece of chocolate cake? That's the way most Australian Shirazes are. You're like, I have a glass, but why don't I have another one? Because they're just fruit bomb, luscious, great,
Double fist everything.
double fist. They have an unctuousness about them that makes them very drinkable. And This one has elements that stop that for me. That sweet tart thing is like a palate blocker. They're like, nope. It has that lushness, but it has this other thing that I don't like.
And that happens.
All right, well,
Oh yeah, sorry, we were supposed to stop. We were so on time when Jeanette unveiled the wines, and then I blew it by having fun. Damn it!
I mean, you can keep hanging out. Yeah, so I guess we'll try to figure out ideas for next week.
Maybe we'll do this like once a month or something.
Or we each. I think it kind of be
Or-
fun to pick a
yeah.
bottle, and,
If we do another
Just the three of
blind,
you pick a bottle.
or maybe do
Three bottles.
another one of our favorites next week, and then maybe the week after, like the last one.
Do customer picks or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't care what we do, who picks them, but given that it's going to be hotter and hotter, can we not do 3 reds? Let's do 3 rosés. Let's do 3 rosés.
3 whites, just 3 whites.
Or 3 port
I
sippers.
mean, mixed between white. Yeah,
We have so many good port sippers
Yeah.
right now. So, and it's port sipper and rosé weather.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Jeanette, for picking these. I'm not diminishing the awesomenesses because this is a
wanted
great way to
throw
start.
rosé in there or white so badly, but I was thinking about the logistics of it, and
Yeah.
it just didn't seem easy at the time.
Yeah.
For the
So
first
all
one,
of them will be chilled,
but
or
next
all of them
time-
won't be chilled. Yeah,
right,
there you go.
Next time it'll be.
Dig it.
Let's do all
Yeah.
chilled next time
I
because
agree.
now I'm going to go drink a bottle of chilled white or rosé right this second to flush out the tannic component
Do
of
you
these
need
3
help?
wines.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you need any help?
Well, the Adelsvicker is a liter, so I'm used to
It's
only
liter
drinking
Adelsvicker.
750 milliliters in a
Struggle through.
5-minute sitting. So
It
I
is
might
not
need.
going to drink itself.
I'm gonna
John.
need some help with that other quarter. Thank God for the metric system. I'm gonna need help with that other quarter bottle. See, I would never be able to
Here it
do
is.
that.
It's right here.
I would never be able to do that math for the English measuring units, but it's like the Adelsvicker and most Gruner Veltliners out of Austria are 1 liter.
Yeah.
1 liter, and 99.9% of all wine bottles are 750 milliliters. And because I learned the metric system back in the 80s when we were getting ready to adopt it as a
Yeah,
country,
yes.
I actually know off the top of my head that 750 milliliters is exactly 3/4 of 1 liter. You get
At
one.
him go.
You
Look
get
at-
one
look at this.
quarter.
Amazing.
A liter is 1/4 of a bottle more than a standard wine bottle.
Hold on. Say that again.
You ready? You ready?
Yeah.
I don't think you're
Okay,
ready.
okay, we're
I'm not
I don't
ready.
think you're ready.
I'm not
We're
ready.
in the dark now.
Now we're.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Thanks,
you
everybody.
all to our 5 viewers.
Yes.
Butts.
Yeah.
All that nothing but the butts.
There you go.
There you go.
Cheers to you all until next time, and hopefully when it's lifted of being able to see each other, that we'll be in our new space and you'll be seeing us 100 feet that way.
It'll be lifted before that. We're going to have a huge blowout party with 10,000 people here before we leave in 2 weeks. You heard it here first.
There's that too.
You heard it here first.
That's it.
You guys have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Cheers.